Thank you so much for coming back and watching another one of my videos. My name is Khandy. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I upload a new informative adoption video every week. So what we are going to be chatting about this week are 5 things that adopted children need from their parents. So all children, whether they are adopted or not, they need to feel constant love and constant security. They just need that. However, if you have adopted a child, once they reach a certain age and they know that they're adopted, because they should know that they're adopted, they are going to need some additional things from us. They are going to need these additional things to make sure that they are able to thrive, and to also make sure that we are taking care of their emotional and mental health. And so these 5 things that I'm going to discuss, these are key factors in making sure that we are setting them up for success, because let's face it, adoption is a beautiful thing, but it comes from loss and trauma. So you can't have one without the other. You know what I mean? And it's up to us as adoptive parents, well, parents that adopted, our children, to acknowledge whatever our child is going to feel. We don't know what our child is going to feel. Every child that is adopted handles their adoption very differently. And how us as parents approach the topic really does affect the way our child, I guess I would say, thrives into adulthood, because they can regress and become very upset and hold a lot of resentment towards us, towards their first family, towards adoption as a whole. And we don't want that, because I know with myself and my husband, everything that we're doing with our daughter is out of genuine love. And so we want to set her up for success in every facet possible. So the first thing you want to do is, it doesn't matter how little you know about their story, you want to make sure that they know their story. It doesn't matter how minute the details are that you have. So if you're adopting through the private sector and you're working with an adoption professional, or even if you're self-matching, you're going to know something, okay? Because this expectant mom has had to have told the professional something. So there will be a story that you are going to be able to form and tell your child, and they are going to be able to build on that as they get older. Hopefully they will have a relationship with their first family, if that's what that family chooses to have, and there will be a healthy relationship behind that, because they have a story to build off of. Now, if you've adopted through foster care, or if there's an international adoption, sometimes there is very little to a story that you are given. However, I would say try your best to get as much information as possible. And if you are able to, try to fill in the gaps. Try to fill in the gaps. We're women. We're good at investigating things. Fill in those gaps. Do your homework. Number 2, no matter how sad or hard the story is, it's theirs. It's theirs. And you need to be able to create a safe and secure space for your child to be able to have open dialogue with you about it. Not every adoption story is pretty. Not every child is coming to us from a safe home. There is a lot of trauma that is involved with adoption sometimes. And our children sometimes are going to want to talk to us about it, and they need to feel safe and secure, no matter when they decide that they want to talk to us, or how they want to express those feelings. And however they want to express those, we need to be able to empathize with them at all times. At all times. Whether it makes us uncomfortable, that's their story. And we need to be able to set a safe environment for them to be able to speak to us however and whenever they want to. Because that's what this is. That's parenthood. 3, they need to know their heritage, their culture. So you need to be able to embrace it. So whether that means learning a language, if you're doing an international adoption, I would hope that you would try to learn their language. Learning the culture that they come from. learning the religion, because if they're an older child and they come from certain countries, whether it's Catholicism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, whatever it is, Judaism, whatever it is, you need to embrace this. You need to embrace this because this is their life. You are now, especially if it's an adoption, an international adoption, you are taking them away from that, from their home that they know. It may not be the best home, but you're taking them away from what they know. So it's best if you know their language, their religion, the food. Take some cooking classes, get on Google, get on YouTube, learn to cook those foods, go to the spice market, learn the palate, learn their food, learn their culture, okay? Learn our hair care. If you are open to all races, learn how to do our hair. My hair is always looking different in these videos, trust me. How do you think I learned how to do this stuff? YouTube? YouTube. Okay, learn how to take care of your child's hair. It's very important to us. That's why the hair thing is so big to us. Because when we see our little black children and to us they don't look neat and they look a mess, we get upset. Okay, so learn how to take care of their hair. We understand it may be difficult for you. I understand that. But just practice. That's all I'm asking you to do is just practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. So again, you need to learn their heritage, their culture, their food, their language, hair care, basic things like that. Number 4, very important. They need to know their first family and they need to feel open and comfortable to come to you and say, I want to know them. And you say, okay. As long as they are not, this first family is not running the streets and they're not going to pose a danger to your child, you should be open with your child knowing where they come from. Because let's be honest, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have that child. That's a part of their makeup. That's who they are. That's how they got here. So you can trust yourself as a parent to make good decisions, but understand if your child comes to you and reaches out and says, Mommy, Daddy, I really want to reach out and get to know them. And if that person is open to it, you should be able to allow that because it's key for their development. Every child should know where they come from as long as the other party is willing to do that for them. Some kids may not care. They may not want to, or some children may not have the means to do that because their first family is no longer alive, they live in other countries, or they're incarcerated, whatever it is, they may not have the means to get to know them. But if they do, you should allow them to do that if they want to, because it's a part of their life that you can never fill. I can't do that for her. Okay? You need to protect their story by any means necessary. Not everyone needs to know why your child was placed for adoption. Not everyone needs to know what your child's mom was doing before she decided to make an adoption plan. Not everyone needs to know where your child's first father is. Not everyone needs to know your child's story, especially before your child knows it. And if at some point your child is of age and can fully comprehend their story, it should be up to them to tell it. Not everybody else. You'll see me talk about different things and my daughter's mom, and I constantly talk about her and how much, we love her and how great she is. And that's where I leave it. I don't even talk about the state my daughter was born in. I don't talk about anything when it comes to her because that's her. She's 2. She doesn't understand anything yet. It's like I try to respect that part as much as possible and just try to keep it, as private to the best of my ability until she's able to say something. I don't even show my daughter, so what am I even talking about? As far as her story, I don't even show my child. Lord. So again, those are 5 things that I feel are key for you to be able, that you should be able to provide your adopted child with, because adoption, again, is a beautiful thing, but it does come from loss and trauma. And until we acknowledge those things, we're not going to be successful as parents. And so we have to equip ourselves and our children with a safe space to be able to come to us with anything that they have. And if at any time you feel like this is out of your comfort realm, get them professional help. It's okay. There are things that are adoption counselors that this is what they do. They counsel within adoption. Okay, if they need to just speak to a different type of counselor, get them that, because the last thing you want is for them to feel like the oddball out, that they don't have anyone that they can speak to, that they don't have anyone that they can confide in. And then, I mean, there's so many different type of adoption groups, and not necessarily Facebook groups, but just different type of adoption forums. You know what I mean? That your child will maybe able to befriend other adoptees, and so they'll have other things in common. You know, so there are different ways to do this and be successful, but don't ever feel like you're in this alone, because you're not. You are not alone. But the one thing you don't want is for your child to feel like they're in this alone. So that's what I have. Those are the 5 things that I have. I hope that you wrote them down. And if you have anything that you feel like, if you are a parent and you have been doing this for quite some time and you feel like I missed anything, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to hear it. If you like this video, please go ahead and push that like button. Again, I upload new videos every week. Please go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.